Let's talk a little bit about how I learned the knuckleball and how I ended up throwing the knuckleball professionally. So when I was younger, I remember 10, 11, 12, something around that range. I remember just experimenting with it. I had seen images on Google Images of how people would grab it. Obviously, Wakefield at the time was pitching, so I watched him and I thought it was a fascinating pitch, so I would play catch with it here and there. I remember specifically when I was 12 years old throwing it in Cooperstown and thinking that maybe the change in humidity would make it move differently. So I remember that it was something in the back of my mind from a young age. And then as I got older, I always continued to mess around with it. It was one of those things where everyone told me I had a great knuckleball. I pretty much had the best knuckleball on every single team I ever played on. I had a travel ball coach when we were 14 that could throw a pretty good one. And so just always something I had in the back of my head, my back pocket. So I always had interest in it. Got to college, tossed it a couple times. Got to pro ball. My first year in pro ball, just got hammered. My fastball wasn't up to snuff because I had gotten a little bit injured, tweaked something in my arm in my last year of college. That took me from really 96 miles an hour down to 88 to 92. It really wasn't enough for me with my stuff for professional hitters. So when I got to pro ball, I suffered my first year and I kept trying to ask them, can I try the knuckleball? And so I would throw it in bullpens, I'd throw it playing catch, I would try to get people to miss the knuckleball, and then eventually it caught on and they started to like it. So they told me, yeah, work on it during the entire off season, and that's what I did. And then I came back next spring training and threw it. And then I remember in one of my games where it worked really well in spring training, afterwards, the pitching coordinator came up to me and he's like, I want to be totally honest with you. I think your stuff might be a little bit short, so maybe you should try the knuckleball. And by stuff, he meant my other stuff, my fastball, slider, yada, yada, because I was really not throwing as fast as I could because of an arm issue. And so my stuff was flat. It wasn't even velocity. I just couldn't get my arm up the same way. I had flat stuff. So then I went to the knuckleball, had pretty good success with it right away. And then the rest is my history. And looking back, I could have just kept going, but it is a lonely pitch, an isolating pitch. And so that's why I'm trying to raise awareness on the pitch so that people can see something that people are going through on their own. But if we have more people that are talking about it, and you guys see on my Instagram now, I have a Knuckleball Academy where we're talking about it, we're teaching it. And really the messaging is, if you're a guy that's throwing the knuckleball, playing catch, I can bridge the gap from playing catch to throwing it in games to making it an out pitch for you, and you don't have to go it alone. And I unfortunately had to for a lot of it. When I got to pro ball, I got to work with Charlie Huff, and there were some other guys, but it's not just like a daily mentorship. And that's what I'm doing, is I'm trying to mentor guys with it, with other pitches too, with slider, fastball. We're building arm strength, we're doing everything. But we really want to focus on that in particular, since that was a specialty of mine. And so if that sounds like you, definitely reach out to me on Instagram, but also follow that same path of keep developing it. And then the biggest key that we're always saying is start throwing it in games, because you never know when it's going to be ready. But even at the beginning, it could be effective as a change of speed. So I'm starting to teach that to more and more kids all the time, and they're really taking to it. They really love it. And so that was kind of a little bit about how I learned it, really just watching Google Images. So I didn't really have anybody that taught me, didn't have anybody teaching me how it comes out of the hand or anything like that. And so now we have more resources on my Instagram, on my YouTube for stuff like that. So check it out. And if you have any questions, feel free to comment below, or really I'm most active on Instagram and TikTok. So hit me up anywhere and I'll be happy to help you. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.